Okay, so are you ready to dive into some serious drama?
Always up for a good story.
Well, today's deep dive takes us back to ancient Samaria during a pretty rough time.
Definitely a period marked by turmoil and hardship.
We're talking famine, siege, warfare, you name it.
And that's exactly where we find ourselves in the book of 2 Kings, chapters 7 through 9.
Yeah, these chapters are like a masterclass in how quickly fortunes can change.
Absolutely, we see a city pushed to the brink of collapse where desperation leads to some unimaginable acts.
Seriously, imagine a city so starved that people are resorting to cannibalism.
It's a grim reminder of the horrors that can unfold when a society is pushed to its limits.
Yeah, it paints a pretty bleak picture right from the start.
Yet, even in the midst of this darkness, a glimmer of hope emerges.
And that's where the prophet Elisha enters the scene.
Ah, Elisha. A pivotal figure known for his miracles and his unwavering faith.
Right. And he drops this bombshell of a prophecy in the middle of all this chaos.
A prophecy that seems completely outlandish given the circumstances.
He basically says, hey, don't sweat it, Samaria. By this time tomorrow, you'll be up to your eyeballs in food. It'll be practically free.
A bold claim indeed, especially when people are literally dying of hunger.
Oh, yeah, not everyone's buying it. I mean, can you blame them?
Skepticism is a natural human response, especially when faced with the seemingly impossible.
Exactly. There's this one royal officer, and he's like, yeah, right, Elisha. And I suppose you're going to tell me that donkeys can fly now, too.
It's easy to judge him from our perspective, but imagine being in his shoes.
You're surrounded by suffering. You're probably starving yourself, and then some prophet comes along promising a miracle.
It's understandable why he'd cling to a sliver of doubt.
Totally. But as we'll see later, his skepticism comes back to bite him in a big way.
The consequences of doubt can be severe indeed.
But before we get to that, let's shift our focus outside the city walls to a group of lepers who stumble upon a discovery that changes everything.
Ah, yes, the leper societies, outcasts, forced to live on the fringes, constantly grappling with fear and uncertainty.
Talk about being caught between a rock and a hard place.
They were truly the most marginalized members of society, and yet it's their desperation that leads to an extraordinary turn of events.
So we've got these 4 lepers facing certain death inside the city.
And they decide to take a chance, a gamble with fate,
They figure they've got nothing left to lose, so they head towards the Aramean camp.
hoping against hope that maybe, just maybe, they'll find some scraps to keep them alive for a few more days.
So they approach the camp, bracing themselves for who knows what.
And that's where this story takes an unexpected turn, a twist of fate that reveals just how unpredictable life can be.
Because when they get there, it's like someone just hit the mute button on an entire army.
The scene is eerily quiet tense. Still standing, fire smoldering, but not a single soul in sight.
Wait, so the Arameans just vanished into thin air?
Not quite. It turns out they were spooked by what they thought was a massive enemy force approaching.
Like a phantom army.
Exactly. They heard the sounds of chariots and horses, panicked, and fled in complete disarray.
Wow, talk about a sudden change of plans. But they didn't even bother to take their stuff.
Nope. They left everything behind: food, weapons, gold, you name it.
Imagine being one of those lepers expecting to find an army camp and instead you stumble upon a treasure trove.
It's like something out of a dream, except this is very real, and it's about to have major implications for everyone involved.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time. But what do you do when you stumble upon a deserted enemy camp overflowing with riches while your own city is on the brink of starvation?
Well, it's a real dilemma, isn't it? I mean, talk about a moral quandary.
Yeah, you've got unimaginable riches just sitting there ripe for the taking.
But at the same time, your city, your people are on the verge of starvation.
So what wins out? Greed or compassion?
Well, initially, let's just say they didn't exactly think of the greater good.
So they went full-on treasure hunter.
Let's just say they indulged a little bit, gorged themselves on the food, start gathering up as much treasure as they could carry.
Yeah, I can't really fault them for that.
But then something interesting happens, almost like a change of heart.
Their conscience kicks in.
You got it. They realize the magnitude of what they've stumbled upon.
It's not just about lining their own pockets anymore.
Exactly. It's about saving an entire city from the brink.
Talk about a heavy burden to suddenly carry.
And to their credit, they rise to the occasion. They gather up what they can and race back towards Samaria.
Driven by a sense of urgency and maybe a little bit of guilt, I'm guessing.
Perhaps. But imagine the scene: they arrive at the city gates, breathless, bursting with this wild tale.
And the guards are probably like, yeah, right, guys, and we just saw a flying donkey, too.
Exactly. It sounds too good to be true.
I mean, who could blame them for being skeptical?
But the lepers are insistent. They're practically yelling, "The Arameans are gone. There's enough food to go around. Come and see for yourselves."
It's like something out of a movie.
Well, this is ancient Samaria, my friend, where truth is often stranger than fiction.
So does anyone believe their story?
Word eventually reaches the king, and even he's hesitant at first.
Smart man, you don't want to send your starving citizens into a potential trap.
Exactly. He sends out a few scouts to investigate just to be sure.
And don't keep me in suspense here.
The scouts come back confirming every word the lepers said. The Aramean camp is deserted, overflowing with supplies.
Wow, Elisha called it. Talk about a vindicated prophet.
Indeed, his words, once ridiculed, now stand as a testament to the power of faith.
And I'm guessing this doesn't bode well for our skeptical royal officer.
You'd be right to think that his doubt is about to catch up with him in a rather unfortunate way.
Oh man, I can already sense the irony brewing. So what happens next? So the city gates open and it's like a Black Friday stampede, right?
I'd imagine it was absolute pandemonium, people desperate for food rushing out to the Aramean camp.
And our friend, the royal officer, he's right in the thick of it.
Oh, he is. And remember Elisha's prophecy. It wasn't just about food being plentiful. It was about it being so cheap.
And that this guy wouldn't live to see it.
Precisely talk about your words coming back to haunt you.
So what happened? Did he just choke on a really cheap loaf of bread?
Not quite. But just as tragically ironic in all the chaos, the commotion of people scrambling for food, he gets trampled to death at the city gate.
Wow, what a way to go. I mean, I guess it proves that prophets really shouldn't be trifled with.
Indeed, Elisha's words, once doubted, proved to be powerfully true.
It makes you wonder about the nature of faith and doubt, doesn't it?
It certainly does. But while Samaria rejoices, a different kind of drama is unfolding elsewhere.
Okay, so where are we off to next?
We shift our focus now to a man named Hazael, a high-ranking official from Aram. He's about to have a rather significant encounter with Elisha.
Elisha again. Man, this guy gets around.
Well, he is a prophet with a direct line to God. And through Elisha, God reveals Hazael's destiny.
Which is?
He's going to be king.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I say congratulations are in order.
Well, hold on, there's a catch. A rather ominous one.
Yeah.
Elisha goes on to explain that Hazael's reign will be marked by violence and destruction, particularly for the Israelites.
So it's like a congrats, but also you're going to cause a lot of suffering kind of prophecy.
Pretty much. He's told he'll set their cities on fire, slaughter their young men.
Mm-hmm.
Truly horrific stuff.
And how does Hazael take this news?
At first, he's horrified, claims he'd never commit such atrocities, but you can almost sense the wheels turning, the allure of power starting to take hold.
Yeah, power can be intoxicating even if it comes at a terrible price.
And so we enter a period of immense upheaval. Kings are overthrown, alliances crumble, and a new player enters the scene, a man named Jehu.
Jehu, another new name in this saga of shifting power.
He's anointed by God through Elisha and sets off a chain reaction of events leading to the death of King Joram of Israel and the infamous Queen Jezebel.
Jezebel, the queen, known for her ruthlessness and, well, let's just say her less than savory reputation.
Yet her end is a rather fitting one for someone who inspired such fear and loathing. She's killed and her body is left to be devoured by dogs, fulfilling another prophecy, this time one spoken by Elijah.
From famine to feasting, from prophecy to its fulfillment, this deep dive has taken us on quite a journey.
It's a stark reminder that even in ancient texts, we find echoes of our own human experiences, the struggles with power, faith, and the consequences of our choices.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of ancient Samaria and the captivating narratives woven within the Book of 2 Kings.
Until next time, may your own deep dives be filled with intriguing discoveries and thought-provoking insights.
Welcome to Charlie and Mia's podcast. We're embarking on an exciting journey to read through the entire Bible in just 1 year. Every day, we dive into Scripture, exploring its meanings and how it applies to our lives today. We invite you to join us on this incredible adventure of learning and discovery. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode.